Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Dynamics Corner, the podcast where we dive deep into all things Microsoft Dynamics. Whether you're a seasoned expert or just starting your journey into the world of Dynamics 365, this is your place to gain insights, learn new tricks, and hear from industry experts. Building a community of new students in Business Central is like planting a garden of diverse seeds. Each student brings a unique perspective that, when nurtured, can grow into a flourishing ecosystem of knowledge and innovation. I'm your co-host, Kris.
And this is Brad. This episode was recorded on April 1st, 2024. Kris. Happy April Fool's Day.
Is it April Fool's Day?
It's an April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day.
we didn't even get to talk about April Fool's Day today.
I know.
I wish we did. I remember one time when I was younger, my mother did a great April Fool's joke on me. I came home from school, I was young, and I took a nap. And they changed the time on the clocks and woke me up and told me that I overslept for school. So I thought that I had to get up and get dressed and run out of the house to go to school. So
that's funny.
It was a very funny
Only
joke.
If they had social media then, they would have seen you.
Yes. Well, thankfully, when I was young, we didn't have social media, so we were able to do a lot of things and have a lot of fun and enjoy ourselves. Yeah. But with us today, we had a great conversation with an individual or a member of the community that works with Business Central and also has a wonderful Power Learn program. Along the way, we also had a surprise guest. With us today, we had the opportunity to speak with Tasha Anspach. Look who it is. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing very well.
You came on theme.
You did come on theme.
Did.
I didn't. Because I was going to, we had listed that glitter and pink were mandatory.
Yeah.
Was the title that we chose. And I was going to wear a pink dress shirt. But then I wanted to be loud, so I went with an orange shirt.
This is roast beef.
And I don't do glitter because I think whomever invented glitter should just not exist. We should send them to another planet.
I would probably be the president of that planet. I'm just saying.
Glitter, because it's the worst thing. You get the cards, or if someone sends you a gift, it gets all over the place. I think one time, someone sent me a card and it was full of glitter. So when I opened up the card, glitter fell all over the place.
They fooled you.
So I think I'm scarred for life because of that. And I don't think so. I was hoping to see that you would have glitter. I thought you'd have like glitter face paint, glitter, like things falling from the sky.
No, but I do need to show you my new fantastic shoes that I got for for the conferences, because I like to dress fancy and I like to stand out and be loud. So,
you can show those.
Okay, because they're amazing. And I don't wear high heels. I don't like girly shoes. Girly, yes, but I don't wear heels.
There you go. There's your glitter.
Look at those pink glitter shoes for the conference with a bow.
Yes, and they're Vans, so they're comfortable. So they're in my normal. I was shocked.
It's like custom made for you.
Those do look custom made, and they do match your theme. And you hit a key point about shoes at conferences. Wearing heels. I've never worn heels, but I've spoken with many people that have. And I think if you wear them for a period of time, I don't care what anybody tells you, they'll be uncomfortable. And if you have to walk from session to session, so it is important at the conferences to make sure you dress comfortably while you're walking around.
Yes.
But anyway, Tasha, thank you for taking the time to speak with us this morning. Been looking forward to speaking with you for quite some time. I know we had a couple hit or misses because you and I had run into each other and we had talked about having you on, and I don't know what happened. But here we are, looking forward to the conversation. But before we jump into it, I would love to know a little bit more about you, who you are, and some of the amazing things that you do.
So I'm Tasha, and I work for a company called Dynamic Consultants Group. We have a subset of our company as well called Power Learn Academy. And I am the enterprise engagement team lead. So I do all of the Business Central things, sell Business Central, implement Business Central, do webinars. I love speaking at conferences. And then I also help quite a bit with the training and creating training plans on the Power Learn side of things. So helping new consultants go into the world as BC experts.
That's cool.
That is great. I did not know that you knew so much about Business Central. So you sell Business Central? I knew you knew a lot, and I see you all over.
You're a lot. You're a lot, Tosh.
I know.
So, death before decaf.
That too.
Why isn't it a pink cup? Because it's death.
Well, so have you ever seen Addams Family? Because I feel like I really have the Enid vibe.
Yep.
This is just me.
No, it's perfect. I used to drink Death Wish coffee, but I stopped. And then some other people talk about the other, like, what is it, Black Rifle or something?
Black Rifle coffee, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So you sell Business Central, you implement Business Central, and you also work on the Power Learn side of your organization. Yes. And I think you're just an all-around fun, exciting, engaging speaker, and also promotion for Business Central and for promotion of learning in Business Central. Yes. How long have you been working with Business Central?
Since 2018.
2018. So you didn't have the luxury of working with some of the previous versions. You jumped right into it when it was within Business Central.
Yep. I started off with Dynamics SL. So that was like my very first intro. Yeah. To technology.
Whoa. SL.
I worked for a company here in Findlay, Ohio, and we did Dynamics SL support. So I had previously worked in like a financial role, and they were like, well, do you maybe want to try technical support? And I was like, okay, cool. Let's give it a go. So I started with SL, and I was like, this is boring. This is not a pretty system. It's not nice to look at. And I like fancy.
As you could tell by the shoes.
And it was the same company, and they had created an add-on for Business Central, and they were showing it in one of the meetings, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to learn that. So I taught myself Business Central, and then I kind of just went into that space.
That's nice. I don't think as you were speaking, I was trying to think back over my career if I've ever come across anybody that used SL. I remember Solomon back in the early days, but I don't think I've heard Dynamics SL since Kris was born. I think it was probably the last time that I've heard about it. But I'm glad that you made the switch over to Business Central.
Me too.
And with the Power Learn, you said Power Learn is what you work with, and you create the videos and you help learn to create Business Central experts or...
Yep. So we actually do in-person training sessions. So we do basically like little cohort sessions. They're 12 weeks. And when the Business Central classes graduate, they also will get their MB 800. So they will be a certified consultant when they are done with the program.
So you have a 12-week program that someone can go through that's an in-person session. That's a long time, 12 weeks. And as part of the class, do they have to take the exam, or is there an exam in the class that's equivalent to the MB 800?
They have to take the exam. We schedule it for them, we pay for it, we do all of the things, and then just get them that certification. And then we try to get them connected with other partners to be able to then join the Microsoft community.
So the target for this would be somebody who's looking to get into Business Central, learn Business Central, and they go through a 12-week boot camp in essence. And when they come through that 12 weeks, they're ready to hit the street and start working with and implementing Business Central. Now, I have a lot of questions about this. You do this in person. Where do you do it? Do you do it in the same location? Would somebody have to travel to you? Do you do it at various locations throughout the United States, throughout the planet, throughout the universe?
Well, I wish the universe. That would be a lot more fun. But unfortunately, they're just different locations throughout the United States right now. Our corporate office is in Kansas City, Missouri. So we do quite a few there. And I believe we have a class coming up that's starting in June that will be in Kansas City. And it's 2 weeks in person, and then we do a week or two that's remote. So that way we can also try to teach the remote component, because everybody's remote now, and it's kind of hard
Yes.
to grasp. You know, if you don't work in this, it's hard to understand what you're supposed to do, how to talk to people with your camera on, how to make sure that your office space is set up to be able to work effectively. So we try to do kind of a hybrid approach just to make sure that we're teaching all components, not just the technical pieces, not just the software, but also how to work, how to be that employee that can work remotely.
That is a
They
great
need a good
skill. I
skill
mean,
set. Yeah.
this is amazing. This is good. This is, I'm excited for this, because as we've spoken with many individuals on the podcast as well as in person, and that's one of the challenges is the product is evolving and expanding to have wider use, and there's less professionals to use it, whether from the consulting point of view or the internal point of view. It's, just to go through this, if you're working with the application, doesn't mean that you, in any form, whether it's, training, use, implementation, development, it can be working for an end customer, because a lot of end customers handle those roles now too.
Yep.
So bringing someone into this environment and bringing them up to a point where they're comfortable with the application is a challenge, because it's also not something like you'll say, okay, I could learn this at school, right? They don't have curriculum on Business Central. They have curriculum on business and even other development languages. I like this. So over the 12 weeks, they get to learn not only the application, but also how to work remote, which is also an important skill set or experience to have, because it is challenging. It can be challenging. I have spoken with many that when we had the transition to remote, they didn't like it. They didn't understand it. They didn't know what to do. They didn't understand the separation. And they're like, I just want to go back into an office.
It's not for everyone at all.
No.
So it's good to have that. Who is the target for this class?
So
Or which type of person?
There's two different paths. So it could be potentially for, an organization who wants to do a whole class and train everybody in the organization, right? Or when we have more public level classes, those are going to be us, people who are trying to get into the technical field or who are trying to pull into this. One of my consultants that I have currently working for me, he was a janitor before. He didn't come from technology, but he is by far the best person that I've ever worked with, because he has the drive and motivation, and he wanted to make a change in his life. And this is what he picked and he learned, and he's absolutely phenomenal. So it's really anybody who just has that drive and motivation, who wants to make a change in their life and who wants to learn new skills.
That is a good target. You brought up a key point. And I talk with some of the newer members of, I'll call it the community. Everyone loves it when I call it the community. Everyone says, do you work with a cult? Like, no, now
Basically.
I just say the community, because it's
pretty much,
it is a cult. Yeah. But it's not the time that you've worked with it. It's your experience and your drive that make you successful. So I've worked with individuals, Kris knows some of these individuals as well, that I've worked with for a few years. And I think they know more, and they not know more, they understand the application more, and they have the drive and the energy to implement it more, versus someone who's been working with it for 20 years. And again, so it's not, and this is one unique product. I'm sure there's other products as well. That time doesn't necessarily mean, your value in a sense. You can understand the application, understand the use of the application within less time, and it's how much you get into it. There are some things as far as business use cases and business experience that you get over time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get out and be successful with the application. Yep. So it's a 12-week, I'm going to just keep going in this because I may want to go through it. It's a 12-week course, 2 weeks. Say it again, Kris.
So I was going to ask, Tasha, are you the teacher, or do you have other teachers teaching the class?
So I have a few other people, and I am also looking for people who have like very specific things that they're good at. So, to volunteer to come teach or, well, to be a teacher. But I need, I'm one of them. And then I also have some of my consultants that do it. We have other people on our team. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to try to convince Mary Myers to come teach my Power Automate portion of the class.
That was my next question, is if you're going to have Power Automate.
Well, yes, it integrates. I have an entire week of integrations because I'm sorry, but if you don't use the M365 integrations, like you're insane. So anything M365, Power BI, Power Automate,
It's a
Power
selling
Apps,
point.
it is. It's the fluff.
We should set her up, Kris. Like, we did this on the podcast with her when she was on. She had a FaceTime call. We should FaceTime her and ask her right here publicly in front of everybody. Mary, would you mind working with Tasha to do the Power Automate class?
It's in record forever. It's recorded.
Well, hopefully she does it, because that would be secondary to this. It's the first thing that came to my mind when you said you have a Business Central program. Is there a Power Automate program? There's many ways to learn these applications. There's 1,000 YouTube videos. There's 1,000 blogs. There's 1,000 of everything out there. But that doesn't mean it's the best way for everybody. Everybody needs a way to learn. So having the opportunity to go sit somewhere and be focused for a 12-week period of time may do better for some individuals. Even more so when you're new to it, you can actually talk to somebody physically and ask these questions. Is it 12 consecutive weeks, or is there time off in between?
It's 12 consecutive weeks unless there's a holiday.
This is like cramming everything in 12 weeks.
Yes.
And 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and then the remainder of the training is remote?
It's kind of that hybrid, yeah.
Okay, I was going to say,
Do you guys break it down by modules, I would assume? Or is there a focus in one module for 12 weeks?
So we go through the entire Business Central product. So we start off with intro, just what is Business Central, obviously, because these are new folks coming into the platform. So what is Business Central? Then we look at core accounting, Glapper. We're then going into look at service, jobs, manufacturing, distribution, all of the warehousing components, just about every module that's in there. I don't really touch on HR very much, but I think like it's probably just because it's the littlest piece. And I don't know if anybody actually uses HR in BC, but if you do, you're probably the unicorn, because I've never met anybody that uses it. But yeah, so just about all of them, except for the small subsets that I think are self-explanatory that people can just kind of pick up along the way after you learn the big chunks.
I see. Do you do any of the administration component, the technical side of that, or mostly just the module space?
So we also teach completely on how to implement. And one of the biggest things that I try to push is that there is not just one path for consulting. Consulting does not mean you have to be technical. Consulting doesn't mean you have to be comfortable training users, right? Like, not everybody wants to do that. So you can be the technical component where you're doing configurations and working in the admin space and doing the actual imports of data and those components, and doing customization. So adding extensions and creating those for the users. But also the configuration, but also I want to make sure that people know that consulting could just be fluttering about and doing pre-sales, because how many people just want to sit and do demos all day? Not many people want to do that. I do. But normal people, I don't think, do. Nobody, so there's different facets of consulting. And I also try to show those different areas where people could potentially go into.
Okay, so the core is really the application itself, because I know you mentioned being an implementer. So
yes.
Are they also looking or touching the areas where you're managing projects when you're implementing as well?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I have a full week of what a project plan could potentially look like. So the different areas, discovery, how to ask questions. That's hard.
Requirements gathering.
Yes. Discovery, requirements, and understanding, but also being able to say no. I think that's one of the biggest things, is like, no is not a bad word. You are allowed to say no. If you don't say no to a customer at least one time, you're probably failing. Um, so
I like that.
different
Powerful
areas
word.
that I try to push.
I want to go back. So we're not normal if we like to do demos. I don't mind doing demos. I enjoy it. I enjoy more of the architecture and helping designing the solution.
Yep.
I enjoy the demos when there's excitement and people get excited with the application.
Yes.
I think everybody likes that because you get that, chemical reaction in your body of the excitement and the approval.
Yeah.
So it's how long has this class, or this course, I should call it? I don't even know what words I'm supposed to use these days. Chris, just correct me. You can correct me too.
I don't know either.
How long has this program been available?
So I don't have an exact timeline, but I know for sure it was available since 2021. So I think when like the big boom happened and nobody could find a BC consultant anywhere, I think that's when the folks who own the organization that I work for were like, we need to find a solution, right? We need to figure something out where we can have resources, where we can grow employees that are just eager to learn and want to figure out new skills and want to work. So they created Power Learn.
I like this, the Power Learn. So it's Business Central. You talked about doing the Power Platform. What about development? Is that on the horizon? Now that there's there's the test is in beta, but the MBA 20 is available for developers now too. So
my consultant's taking it in 2 days. I'm really excited for that. So I don't know necessarily that there's a development one, but that would be absolutely fantastic, I think. We do have the Power Platform class already for more of like the CE side of things. I don't do anything with that, but there is a class that's offered for the Power Platform. But I really like the idea of the development because I think that would help, because developers are kind of hard to come by, but they're making it more accessible for people now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so you had mentioned about Power Platform. Is there a transition for someone that's starting with Business Central, and then you speak about the different opportunities with Power Platform and how you can integrate with low code, no code? Is that like an organic transition for them to go into Power Platform, or could they start with Power Platform and maybe go into Business Central?
Either way. So with the Business Central class, we're trying to make sure that people have visibility into all of the different products, all of the different things that they could potentially do. So my 1 week where we do integrations, we're going to be talking about the M365 integrations. We're going to be talking about Power Automate, Power BI. And if that's something that they really want to lean into, maybe let's go down that path. Maybe let's go down the low code, no code path, or maybe let's go down the Power BI data analysis path. So it's really about trying to figure out what fits and what speaks to you and what's going to make you happy as a consultant in the long run. So we also, with Power Learn students, once they graduate and they have their certification in whichever platform they pick, there's also upskilling that they can do after the fact. So if you want to learn, I mean, even ISV products, because there's some pretty prevalent ISV products that just about everybody uses in the community. And so maybe let's learn that as an upskill. Maybe let's go into that Power Automate.
The community. Anytime you say the community from this day forward, I want to see you go the
In
community.
quotes.
So if your presentations, or anyways, just say the community. We have to start a community.
You're gonna get new students. Like, what is the community? Yeah, it's the community, guys.
I feel like they could make a TV show about it. I feel like that would be fun.
About the community?
The community,
Oh,
yeah.
It's just so like Office, the Office, or
Yes.
Office Space. It'd be like community
Space. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's make a show.
Yes.
What is the size of the class limited?
About 10 to 12 people is normally the best group.
Okay.
Any less than that, you're not going to be able to have as much group interaction. Any more than that, it gets overwhelming, and then people can't have the one-on-one time that they need.
I see that. I think that is an adequate size. Also, you can take away from the training as well. If somebody doesn't fully understand and they have a lot of questions,
Yep.
I think 10 gives you enough of that, what I call one-on-one. What is that? I can only see the top. Oh, it's a dog.
This is Coco.
Coco.
Coco. Look
Coco.
Yeah.
at Coco smiling.
Coco is
Yes.
smiling with
See my
Coco
side
has
view.
also a pink outfit on. Which
She
type
does.
of dog is Coco?
She is a long-haired Chihuahua. And see, she's even got her sparkles.
So glitter everywhere. You must have a lot of glitter going around.
So cute.
So you alluded to this at the beginning when you showed us the shoes that we can expect
Yes.
to see, but now we're coming into, I don't know when it is officially, but everybody says conference season, but to me, conference season sounds year round because there's so many conferences. But we're coming into
It's like two waves. It's like a wave of conference, wave 1 and then wave 2 conference.
Well, I think it coincides with Business Central wave 1 and wave 2, Kris.
It does.
So we have some conferences coming up, and you had mentioned you would be presenting.
Yes.
Where will you where will you be presenting?
So first we have Directions.
Directions North America.
Yes, Directions North America. I haven't been out of the United States for a conference. I should probably maybe try to do that at some point. It seems a little bit terrifying to me, but I think that might be the next.
I always say I will, and I was going to go to EMEA last year. I was all set to go, but due to my, whim of a decision to just up and move, I wasn't able to go. It sounds like a lot, but it isn't a lot. The thing that gets me is the travel.
Yeah.
Because
day.
if you look at even some other members of the community that live outside of the U.S., they'd love to come to the U.S., but if it takes them 12 hours to get here, so on top of leaving your country and going to another country, which is great because you want to maybe take some time to visit, because that's what I would like to do. I'm not, flying into a European country for a day or two after traveling, one full day each way is a bit taxing. But that's where it gets difficult. I have to figure out how to travel, work remotely, sightsee, and attend a conference. We'll have to come up with a plan for that. So you'll be at Directions North America, which is in San Diego, April 14th to 17th.
Yes.
Will you be presenting there?
I am. I have 2 sessions. The first session I am doing with Rich Fowler from Stratos Cloud. And we are doing Present More Than Your Software, How to Present Like a Pro.
I don't know if I want to ask about it because it gives it away. Or maybe we can ask about it. And this will be released right before the conference. Therefore, someone will know. So what is that session about? I can guess based on the title.
Yeah. Basically, how to present yourself, what you're supposed to do to prepare, how to engage your audience, how to make sure that people are taking away the messages that you're trying to give. Because when you're going, you're not just selling the software. It sounds gross, but you're selling yourself. You're selling your company. You're selling the overall everything. So when you go, not only do you need to make sure that your software is ready, not only do you need to make sure that you've prepared for your presentation, you also need to make sure that you look like you should be presenting your software. And that does not just mean wearing gray, beige, and navy blue. So trying to do self-expression and the different components of how that can be pulled into your presentation that you're doing.
I think
that's a great session.
It is a great session, and you are correct. It's not necessarily selling yourself. I mean, I understand how it does sound, but in essence, you are because you want to build confidence. I think with whomever you're presenting to and what you're presenting. And to me, I hear it as more than one way. It's selling your company, like you said. If you want to do implementation services or any other type of service that you offer, selling yourself as an expert if you are presenting so that whomever is watching your presentation can have the confidence that what you're saying is factual and valid. And it's also just so that people of the community will know how
that goes
great you
well
are.
with your class, because then once they have to learn how to present, they have to learn to be more confident. So this session that you have would be a perfect organic upskill, like you said, right? So this is cool.
There will probably be a little bit of bantering back and forth because Rich is confident that it is harder to present in person, and I think it's harder to present this way.
Remote?
Yes, I think it's harder to present on a screen and keep people engaged this way versus doing it in person. So there's probably going to be some discussion.
You hit a key point. It depends on what you're saying is harder, because is it more, stressful, nerve-wracking, embarrassing, any of those emotions that you have when you're presenting in person versus online? Or you hit the key point of engagement, because when you're doing a presentation, you want to make sure that you keep the audience engaged. That's one of the missions that we have here that we always talk with everyone about, is we want to try to have an engaging conversation with whomever we're speaking with, because we want people to listen. I think that is going to be a great session. When is it? I hope it doesn't overlap with mine, because I will go to this. If you don't know, I'll look it up. You can say, look it up.
I was going to say, you might have to look it up, but at one point it was Monday at like 6:15, but then the time disappeared on the portal. So now I'm not entirely sure. The
times are back.
Are they? Okay. I have not checked today, because it was there at 6:15 on Monday, whatever that date is. And then it disappeared. So I'll have to double check, but I think it's 6:15.
Are you doing any other sessions?
I am. The other session I'm doing there is, are you the driver or the passenger? How to ensure you are managing your projects.
Wow.
That's an important session.
A consulting point of view or a customer point of view, or is it neither? Is it just anybody managing a project?
Consultants, project managers.
Consultants and project managers. I guess that would make sense at Directions, because Directions is primarily, or is, partner focused. So it's managing the projects for your customers.
You could be a driver, and then your passenger reaches over and steers the wheel.
Or like the driver's ed cars, where you think you're driving, but it's really the instructor over in the passenger seat who's actually pushing on the brakes and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that brake is great. That little brake they have. Oh, I have a lot of brake checks.
I need that for my kids.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Do they drive?
I have 2 adult children, which is really weird.
Why is that weird?
Because having adults is I have 2 little children. Well, not little, but they're like 8, or they're 10 and 12. So it's fun. It's fine because you can tell them what to do. But when they turn 18 and 20, what do you do? I can't tell them what to do anymore. I can't give them medicine when they're sick. It's weird. I don't know. Having adult kids is weird.
I have adult kids. I think they're older than me.
I think my 20-year-old acts older than I do, but
that's what I was referring to. Is mine are older than me. Oh, so I could see you need that. Well, you'll have to go through that again soon.
I know.
If you have an 8 and a 10-year-old.
I know.
Oh, so that's
like 2 waves.
It is. It's 2 waves. Well, you have the others that can help you, hopefully.
Yeah.
With the smaller children, it's good to have a family. It's siblings are important. It's fun. I have a lot of siblings, and we enjoy, even to this day, throwing things at each other's head when the time comes. But if there's a problem or you need something, you know who to call, and they'll be right there.
Right.
With you. So that covers your Directions tour.
Yeah.
Are you speaking anywhere else now that we're talking conference season?
Dynamics Con Live.
Dynamics Con Live in May, which I think is, Chris, what is it, May 13th to the 17th?
Yeah.
If I recall the dates
there's
correctly.
a code. Don't forget.
Oh, did you know that there's a secret code that you can use, a promo code to get a discount?
Ooh.
15%, right? Yeah.
15%. Dynamics Corner, if you want to use the promo code. Share that with your friends. Tell them to use it.
Okay.
And your not so friends. Anybody that may want to go to the conference.
Just post it everywhere.
Just post it everywhere. Just say,
Got it.
Use the code Dynamics Corner. You get 15% off, which is almost the equivalent to me of a flight. So you could get your flight as part of the registration if you do the math. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So we'll see you at Dynamics Con Live. Mm-hmm. What will you be presenting at that conference?
That one is Budgeting Bonanza. So we will be talking about budgeting and cash flow forecasting and
people budget.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
You'd be surprised.
Wild.
Budgeting bonanza. Budgeting bonanza within Business Central.
Yes. Yes. Budgeting and the AI cash forecasting.
Ooh,
that would be
AI.
really
I
good.
think AI will take over every conference. I was looking at some information for Summit in October. I think Summit in October, 100 sessions. I think if you don't have AI in the title, I don't think it will be on the list. I don't know that. I'm just saying, I think, everyone's talking about, I want to do all these AI conferences, all these AI things.
I can't do it. I can't write email. So I tried to use AI or like the Copilot stuff to like help me write notes or help me do my emails. It's just too many words for me. So I'm still going to stick with my like 4 bullet points, and I can't do the big paragraphs.
Just TLDR.
Yep.
Copilot, shorten this.
Basically.
In 4 bullet points. And that's it.
Yeah.
Are you doing any other presentations at DynamicsCon Live? So this is good because most people, well, not most people, I know myself, I do the same presentations all year long. So if you see me at directions, you'll see me. I do switch it up for the conference depending upon the audience, but it's generally the same content.
But I do different every time.
You do different. That's great. Mm-hmm. That is great. Or do you have a rotation that you go through, or do you just do new ones for each conference?
Just new ones. The only one that I've done a repeat of is at Summit, and that's just the basic BC demo for people who are trying to evaluate the product. So basic BC demo, but it's always going to have a different product, or it's always going to have a different title. And it's going to be fun.
And that will be your other conference you're going to? Okay.
Yes, which I finally submitted my session. So
So you're doing 2 at DynamicsCon Live. You're going to be doing Budgeting Bonanza. Yep. And what is the title of the second?
Oh, no, just one at DynamicsCon, 2 at Directions.
2 at Directions, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, that'll be good.
Did you submit anything at Community Summit?
I finally did last night.
That was the deadline, but
I know.
I think that deadline's going to be extended.
Yeah, I think so too, because of Easter Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Kris. Someone's at the door.
Special guest?
I wonder who this could be.
Ooh.
Who is this?
Boom!
You mention and she appears.
You called her name 3 times. She showed
and she appears. Look at that. We just went Mary, 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 and look who appeared.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Oh man.
I love it.
Mary doesn't know what she's getting herself into.
I know. Poor Mary.
I can only imagine, but Tasha, I have to say that your hair looks really phenomenal. That was my immediate thing, was like your hair on point.
You never complimented me on my hair.
Brad, you never give me the opportunity to see it. You always have it hidden, but great hat. Solid hat.
Where's your pink shirt for the occasion?
You know what's funny is like I looked at it and I almost wore like my traditional like World Max like pink shirt, but I was like, no, we'll be fancy.
Wait a second. I'm looking at the 2 of you and you're side by side on my screen. Tasha, can you lean to one side, and Mary, can you lean to the other side?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Chairs.
I thought you both had the same chair because it was the pink, like the stitching looked similar when you were covering. And then the shape of the headrest, it looked the same. I was wondering, like, do you guys have the same chair? So
great minds.
It is. It's just, well, the reason why I said that is because when we spoke with Tasha, she said that glitter and pink are mandatory for the podcast. And I didn't want to wear a pink dress shirt, and I don't have any pink shirts that are fun. So I just wore this shirt. I don't even know what this means. Someone gave it to me, but I hope it's nothing bad.
I think they're trying to tell you that you're roast beef.
I don't even know where it's from.
Because you moved to Florida. Look at that. It's roast beef hanging by the beach.
I have no idea, but I figured it's loud and it would fit with the glitter and pink.
Suiting.
So we were talking about Tasha's conference presentations. We just covered her summit, her Directions and Dynamics Con Live Summit. And we also talked about her Power Learn Academy.
Yes, she does all the things.
And that Power Learn Academy was amazing. And we had an amazing idea.
Okay. Sure.
Mary can come teach my Power Automate section.
Oh, that is exciting. I would be thrilled. That is such a great course and obviously put on by a great team of people. I think that does sound like a phenomenal idea. I love Power Automate.
And if you teach it in Tampa, I can get a free admission. And I'll go monitor the class or the course or whatever that you call it.
Ooh.
Yes.
See, to help promote it.
There you go.
Promote that.
Did you agree on a
Did I
recorded
agree?
podcast
Yeah.
to teach the class? Oh, there you go.
I mean, it sounds like something I do all the time. So, yeah, teach a Power Automate class. This is something I am fully capable of doing.
Look, bringing the community together. The community together.
That's our new thing, Mary. Too, Tasha. Yeah, it's the community.
Community.
Yeah. Yes, Mary. Every time you say the community now, it's the community.
That sounds very cultish.
We're trying to get Microsoft to possibly produce the community show.
No, they won't do the community show. We are going to do the community show with host
they'll help
Mary.
us
And that was
sponsor
our
it.
next thing, Chris. That's going to be Mary and Tasha doing the community show. And they can have their own guests come on and they can talk about it. But that Power Automate course, to bring it back, sounds amazing. How long would that be? The Business Central one we spoke of is 12 weeks long. Power Automate, how long do you think? I mean, I don't know if anyone spoke about this before or not, or you're just throwing this together now ad lib, but how long would that be?
The Power Automate piece within the Business Central course is just one day. So like there's one day deep dive into like, this is Power Automate. This is how it fits into the BC world. So just that piece is just one, but that is part of the other section that we offer for like the Power Platform. So, and that's another 12-week class that would be secondary, but Business Central is my core focus.
So you have a Power Platform 12-week course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that handled the same way?
Yep.
Where someone would come to a location somewhere within the United States, spend 2 weeks, then they would have remote training, come back to wherever it's being held. Where's the next one?
I have to check. I don't know where that one's at.
Where's the next business? Well, the next Business Central you said is in Kansas City.
Yes.
The next Power Platform we'll have to find out.
Yes, I will find out and I will let you know.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Okay.
We'll put it on the show notes if she tells us right after this.
Waiting.
Hold on. I don't even know. Oh, yes, it is awake. They are awake. We're past Central Time.
Who's doing Chris, you doing the hearts? Mary, you were doing that too?
Mary said a heart.
I just did a heart, but mine's not fancy. It doesn't read the thing.
Boo.
Because you don't have a Mac.
Heart.
No, who has a Mac?
Whoa.
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 How do you... How?
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 What do you mean how?
I need some help here. How do you use any of the things with
On
a
a
Mac?
Mac? I've been using a Mac since about 2015. It's absolutely amazing. I use
Oh,
a
Lord
Windows
have
virtual
mercy.
machine for those things that I must use Windows for, because there are certain things that
That's
you can't.
the beauty of Business Central. It's all cloud-based. You could be
But
on
I can
anything.
do everything for Business Central on a Mac.
How's that edit in Excel work? for you?
Yes.
Who uses Excel?
Everybody. What? Edit in Excel is like the selling feature.
I just use Analyze View now. That's all I'm going to be
Your
using.
mom.
What'd you say, Mary? I couldn't hear.
I said because I know that she'll edit this out. Uses Excel. I said your mom.
We're not editing anything out.
It's staying forever.
It's staying forever. No. If you,
that's
well,
gold.
as I had
God.
mentioned, there are certain things that I will use a virtual machine for because they don't work on a Mac, but there's also things that don't work on Windows that work better on a Mac or work on a Mac. So I have the best of both worlds, but predominantly I use a Mac all day.
Yes.
And I can go from my iPhone to my iPad to my Mac just seamlessly. Just like that. Like I can take a FaceTime call and I can transition it from each device.
Okay, that's nice, but
I do that too. It's called CarPlay.
Mary,
brought me.
Listen, I tell everybody once you get a Mac, you'll never go back to Windows. It's you have to, but you do have to give it some time to get used to
It's a little
how it
learning
works. It just
curve.
works. In my opinion, it works well. I know it's a Microsoft product and Microsoft this, but Business Central does work well on it. Visual Studio Code works very well on it, as well as the AL extension as well. There, like I said, there's some things that I haven't been able to do too well.
Tasha, do you have any students that are using a Mac coming to your class?
no. Nope.
Wow. How about you, Mary? Have you had anyone using a Mac joining your session? Excluding me.
I think I want to say that I have. So I've done so many different types of trainings, like over the 6 years that I've been doing Power Automate, and in the earlier times when somebody had a Mac, it honestly often throws off things because if you're not used to it in some of the different functionalities, so when they're new to the product and you're teaching on a different program, there's issues. Actually, recently when I was in New York training, we had the same issue. Somebody was on a Mac, I couldn't help them. I don't know your magic keys. I didn't buy into that hoopla, so I can't help them. So I'm more efficient in the Windows world.
Well, I think that
we're a rare breed, Brad.
Yeah.
No. Many people use Macs. We may be rare, but we're rare for other reasons.
Very accurate rare breed statement.
Yes, but Mary is saying we're rare for other reasons. I understand and I appreciate that, but that's okay. I feel I can take it. I can take it.
Oh, goodness.
Well, this was wonderful. Mary, thank you for joining as a surprise guest, a little impromptu visit because Tasha wanted to talk with you about the Power Platform, Power Automate training session that you're going to do. If you're doing one down in Florida, let me know. But
Okay.
Florida's big. So we'll have to talk offline and I can tell you precisely where to do it, across the street, because that's probably where the distance that I'll go.
This is going to be...
Is there a beach? Is there a beach across the
Florida?
street? Across the street from you, where you're at.
Oh, you do these on the beach?
Well, I would personally. I don't want to sit in an office. If I'm going to Florida to train somebody, I'm not sitting in an office. They're just saying.
I guess you could do it on the beach. No, the beach isn't across the street, so
I'd
go to the beach.
Or a golf course.
Oh, there's golf courses in this area. There's golf courses every other block. Mm-hmm. I think it's just one big golf course.
Teach at the clubhouse, and then after that, you play golf.
That would get Mary to go there.
Right?
We could have a little session called Build a Power App with Mixed Reality, and in there we'll throw fun little components in our Power App so that then you too can make a Power App that also serves as a rangefinder, but actually only shoots 50 yards out so that you can only use it on the putting range or to really work on your short game. But that is the Golf Power Apps course that I would teach.
Whoa. And also, I was thinking that you could also put into it how you can track your golf game and keep track of your golf statistics for your course, and then pull up like the par. I don't know too much about golf, but
I don't either.
On some of those, that's when I would honestly go back to say, Brad, just because you can doesn't mean that you should. And there's plenty of other apps that do some really great things like that for you.
It's the word no. We're going back to that. Say no.
Say
Yes.
no.
You're allowed.
that is a very powerful word, and many people should use it in a lot of cases, because as Mary had mentioned, and we spoke with her before about, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And sometimes no is better. And it also helps relieve a lot of stress, because if you say yes too much, sometimes you just give yourself too much work, or some things that you have to deliver, or some additional problems that can create some stress and anxiety for all of us. But Tasha, also, thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you for speaking with us. Look forward to seeing your sessions at Directions. Look forward to also seeing your sessions at DynamicsCon Live. Mary, we look forward to seeing your sessions there as well, because I know you'll be at both places. And if someone would like to learn more about the Business Central services that you offer, as well as more information on the Power Learn opportunities with Business Central or Power Platform, or when Mary's going to present as part of the Business Central training, how can someone best contact you?
I will share my QR code with you. But also I have my website that you can find me in, and that is tashatalks.tech.
tashatalks.tech.
Yes. And then also LinkedIn, email. I'm easy to find.
Okay, so the best place would be the tashatalks.tech, as well as LinkedIn. We'll put that information in the show notes. And Mary, since you're here, how can someone best get a hold of you to learn about some Power Platform golf range application training?
Absolutely. So you can always find me on LinkedIn at Mary Myers. And then you can find me on Twitter at Mary Myers. And you can also find me on TikTok and Instagram at the Power Platform Partner.
TikTok. I used to like
I like
TikToks.
it.
Thank you very much to the both of you. It was a lot of fun.
This is fun.
I look forward to seeing you both in a couple weeks at the upcoming Directions North America Conference.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right,
Have a great
perfect.
one.
All right, thank you.
Take
Ciao,
care.
ciao.
Bye.
Thank you, Kris, for your time for another episode of In the Dynamics Corner Chair. And thank you to our guests for participating.
Thank you, Brad, for your time. It is a wonderful episode of Dynamics Corner Chair. I would also like to thank our guests for joining us. Thank you for all of our listeners tuning in as well. You can find Brad at developerlife.com. That is DVLPRLIFE.com. And you can interact with them via Twitter, DVLPRLIFE. You can also find me at matalino.io, matalino.io. And my Twitter handle is matalino16. And you can see those links down below in the show notes. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, and take care.